Yo, 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 yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Today is December the 30th, and there are 5 games in the NBA. So we shall get through those. We start with a quick recap of yesterday, as we always do. I actually had to, all my bets are tracked in my spreadsheet, but like I had to write these down yesterday because I fired off last night. 7 plays I ended up making last night, and we end up in the green, but it's still really, really frustrating. Every time I bet on a team recently, it feels like they get hawked down. And last night, it was the Orlando Magic who were able to score just 12 points in the fourth quarter against the Toronto Raptors, who won the second leg of a back-to-back after overtime game, shorthanded without Scotty Barnes. Didn't even matter. Orlando is a thorn in my side. The Golden State Warriors continue to be a thorn in my side. Steph gets ruled in, of course, after being uncertain, and they end up winning the game, covering the spread. I took the plus 6.5. So overall, the losers were Orlando money line, Brooklyn plus a 6.5. Chicago, I think, was more so a bad beat. Kobe White got hurt in the first quarter. Then Josh Giddey got hurt. I don't think Josh Giddey didn't return. So those were the 3 losses. The winners were Milwaukee. We took them on the money line. That was a winner. Houston team total over 118.5. That Pacers defense continues to look terrible. New Orleans plus the 8.5. Knicks, I think, a 3-11 against the number on the road. That was a winner. And then we caught OKC live again. Back-to-back nights, OKC third quarter, minus 4.5. Easy work last night out of the Atlanta Hawks in the third quarter specifically. Still end up not covering the full game. So that was the card. Also, I know I talked about Brunson assists yesterday at 7.5. He finished with 10. That was a winner. And Giannis assists as well at 5.5. And that was a winner if you guys tell those looks. So we'll jump into it for today. Get through this 5-game card. Let's go through the comments real quick. Real Talk says, morning community. He says, I like Philly in Detroit money line parlay. What's up, Taylor? He says, good morning, Chris and community. What's up, Taylor? Good morning, Vario. He says, y'all hit that like, man. How was practice? How practice go yesterday, Coach? Go Lakers. Won't be betting it. So real quick, Vario, I know you always ask about practice. Practice was good yesterday. One thing that is so interesting about 6 and 7-year-olds is that they really struggle to kind of, especially if they like this is their first year playing. Like my team is all, brand new, so they're learning everything. We're going through triple threat position and, trying to dribble with our head up and not carry the ball across the court. And they're playing on 8-foot rims. So the most difficult thing it feels like as a coach is to get them to share the basketball. Like everybody gets the ball and it's like, their prefrontal lobe is not fully developed yet. It's not even close to being fully developed. So they get the ball and they're just like, oh, I need to go to the rim. So they're picking it up, carrying it, traveling it, just trying to get their own shot. So yesterday I made them play 1-on-6. I had 6 players show up. I made them play 1-on-6 against me. And I was playing defense, like real defense, on the person with the ball because they just wouldn't share the basketball. So I'm just like, so they get the ball and I'm like, you got to pass it to your teammate. You got to pass it. You got to pass it. Because it wasn't working when I was letting them scrimmage against each other 3-on-3. So if you took more than 5 seconds, I was just coming either blocking your shot or taking the ball from you because I was trying to get them to understand that they have to pass the basketball. So it's been fun, Vario. I absolutely loved it, man. I'm loving coaching, but it's definitely hard work for sure. And you got to have a lot of patience, a lot of patience. Appreciate you asking, though, Vario. Hope all is well with you, bro. Prolific says, good morning, Chris. He says that was some BS last night. Damn. Talking about the Brooklyn game because we was going back and forth on Twitter or X about this. And Brooklyn just kind of, it's interesting when the team that's more rested, that's not the team coming off an overtime game to have to travel is the team that ended up running out of gas in the fourth quarter. Like Golden State wasn't supposed to get better as the game go on. But they were supposed to get better as the game went on the night before when I was complaining about them because they couldn't beat Toronto. That's just how a cookie crumbles sometimes, man. They go like that sometimes. Rick says, I did okay last night. Took Portland. What happened in that Portland game? I turned it off at halftime. Well, no, I started a little bit of the third quarter. I don't even know how that game finished. I know that they were smoking Dallas. And it looked like it was trending towards an over. What was the final score? Wow. 125 to 122. Mavs came all the way back. They were down by like 16 points at one point. Okay, cool. Max Christie had 25 last night. Denny Avdia missed the triple-double by a rebound. What's up, Brian? He says, good morning, Chris. Houston team total was good. Brooklyn, crunch time, they're just not good. Yeah, that was a little bit of it as well. Avance has got a couple cashes, but overall, 2-4 night. Got to the window with Anthony Black points and over in the Hawks and Thunder game. Rockets were winning all game and lose the fourth quarter by 18. I think they lost the fourth quarter by 20, Vaughn. I think it was 41-21, right? Yeah, they lost the fourth quarter by 20 last night. I saw that. Absolutely. Like that's we talked about it, right? That the Rockets don't do what they're supposed to do when they land a big number. And we know the Pacers have been absolutely trash, but somehow they shoot 53% from the three-point line last night. You can't make that stuff up, man. That's crazy, man. Old head, man. Let's see. Let's jump into the slate, man. So yeah, 4-3 day for myself yesterday. Hopefully you guys made some money. Let's go to JaXon. JaXon went 1-1 split yesterday. And what I'm realizing about JaXon, I'm gonna just give you guys some analysis based on the picks because I've been tracking these for a while now. So the Houston Monster 14 probably should have been a winner, but it was not. And the Milwaukee and Charlotte over the 226.5 was a winner. That game finished 236 yesterday. So 1-1 split. What I'm noticing about JaXon is JaXon don't get the spread right most of the time. JaXon likes the favorites. Not that they can't win, but I'm looking. I'll just give you guys real quick before we jump into the two plays for today. I want to give you guys an update. So if we look at yesterday, Houston Monster 14 was a spread that lost. The total was a winner between the Bucks and the Hornets. And then we go back 2 games ago. Detroit minus the 3 against the Clippers, loser. Memphis and Washington over 239.5 was a loser, so you lost a total bet. But we go back to the 27. Phoenix, this was the second game against the Pelicans. They won and covered, minus the 4.5. Chicago, Milwaukee under the 235.5, winner. So total so far 2-1 over the last 3 days. We keep going back farther. Detroit minus the 9.5. I think this was against Utah, loss. Miami, Atlanta over the 246.5. I'll give JaXon a little credit for this one. This was before Bam. I think it was some injury news that came in this game. Got that one wrong. OKC, San Antonio over the 231.5. Loser. Houston minus the 2.5. Winner. Washington, Charlotte over 231.5. I think this was a winner. OKC minus the 5.5. Loser. Utah, Denver under the 251.5. Winner. Houston, Sacramento under the 224.5. Loser. Clippers, Lakers over 228.5. Loser. Philly, New York under 229.5. Winner. Back on the 19th. So I feel like since I've been tracking these, there's been a few more winners on the total and not as many winners on the spread. Like you actually might get fade JaXon on the spread. JaXon has not done well on the spread. So with that being said, let's jump into the 2 picks for today. Figure out what spread bet it is. All right. So Detroit minus the 1.5 is the top play on the board today for JaXon. I asked JaXon what is the best NBA total bet and NBA spread bet based on cleaning the glass data specifically, provide detailed analysis. So JaXon likes the Pistons minus the 1.5. It says that they're entering the matchup as one of the most efficient teams in the Eastern Conference, currently ranking 8th in offensive rating, 2nd in defensive rating. They face a Lakers team that's 20-10. While efficient offensively, 7th in offensive rating, they struggle significantly on the defensive end, ranking 23rd. With the 117 defensive rating, this creates a massive net rating advantage for Detroit +6 compared to Lakers +0.2, which is 15th. So defensive dominance, Detroit's second-ranked defense is elite at forcing mistakes, ranking 3rd in turnover percentage allowed at 16.8. The Lakers defense is not great in comparison, ranking 22nd in points per possession allowed at 118.6. So then there's the rebound advantage, and this is what I saw as well. Detroit's a powerhouse on the glass, ranking 2nd in offensive rebound percentage at 36%. The Lakers average only 41.2% rebounds per game compared to Detroit's 46.9%. In a game with the tight spread, these extra possessions are often the deciding factor. So then there's the efficiency gap. The Lakers shoot a high effective field goal percentage, 57.2, which is 3rd in the NBA. Their thin margin of error is evident by their 15th ranked net rating. Detroit's ability to combine a top 10 offense with a top 2 defense makes them a much more stable team. Then there's more news and narratives that I'm not going to get into. But it does say that Detroit is looking to stabilize after 2 close road losses. which I don't know how close that last one was. And they bring a strong 11-6 road record into crypto.com arena tonight. Talks about the Lakers injuries, blah, blah, blah. Next game. I'm sorry, total. Philly and Memphis over the 232 is what JaXon likes here. It says the market expectation is for this game is high tempo, and the efficiency data supports a high scoring outcome. Both teams are averaging over 115 points per game. Philly 115.7, Memphis 115.3. While both defenses are respectable, the specific matchup dynamics, particularly the higher volume of free throws and perimeter shooting, point towards the over. So offensive efficiency versus defensive gap, Philly ranks 8th in an offensive rebound percentage at 30.7, which should lead to second chance points against the Memphis team that's inconsistent in the half court. Memphis, meanwhile, excels at ball movement, averaging 29 assists per game, which tests a Philly defense that has looked porous during their current 3-game slide. Star power and usage. Tyrese Maxey is currently carrying a massive load for the 76ers, playing nearly 40 minutes per night, averaging 30.7 points. His ability to push the pace, Philly ranks 20th in pace, combined with Memphis' preference for a faster home game, 9th in pace, at 101.86 possessions, suggests a high possession affair. Then their shooting profile. Philly's a strong perimeter team, shooting 35% of their shots from 3. Memphis struggles with perimeter depth due to injuries to multiple rotational players, which could open up the floor for a high-scoring shootout. So then there's some major storylines as far as Joel Embiid's health and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read all that, but that is the 2 looks for JaXon today. JaXon likes the over between Philly and Memphis and Detroit minus the 1.5. Take the information, do what it is that you want, man. Let's jump into it for these 4 games that we have on the board for today. So first up, we got the 76ers and the 76ers and the Grizzlies. Game will be played in Memphis today. So it looks like, I just want to make sure we have all of the updated lines. Let's see. Yeah, this is updated. All right, so Philly open, laying 1.5. I'd seen it kind of, I think it was a flip of favorites, and then 76ers are now the favorite again. They're laying 1.5, depending on where you're shopping. Total has started to get steamed up just a little bit. 232.5, I feel like, is what I wrote down in my notes yesterday. Let me just go to my notes. No, 233.5. And it hasn't really moved a lot at all. We checked the injury report because you have to, especially when you're looking at a Philly game. And Joel Embiid is listed as questionable, as he always is. Who knows if this guy's going to play? No Kelly Oubre, no Trent Watford. On the Memphis side of things, I think a big part of it here is the Jock Landale injury status. So he's listed as questionable. He's missed back-to-back games. I think it's like an ankle injury or a lower leg injury. Can't remember exactly what it was. But I don't want Memphis without Jock Landale. They're already missing enough bigs, in my opinion. There's no Brandon Clark. There's no Zach Edey. I was reading about them losing their most recent game to the Wizards. Second game they lost to the Wizards in like 2 weeks, and a large part of it was the rebounding advantage that the Wizards had in that game. They ended up smoking the Memphis Grizzlies on the boards in that game. And I think looking at Philly, this is a pretty good road team in general. They have been 9-3-1 against the number on the road. They're coming off 3 straight losses, 3 straight non-covers as well. I'm not sure. I guess Embiid plays, it makes it better, but I feel like I know for sure Philly has not been good with Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George are playing. I can't remember exactly what their record is, but I want to say it's something like 0-4. Now, will it be difficult to go in here and beat this, Grizzlies team at home, coming off a loss themselves to the Wizards? I do think so. But I think if I'm betting the game, I think I like Philly. That's what I wrote in my notes yesterday. Philly, like I said, 9-3-1 against the spread on the road, 3 straight losses, 3 straight non-covers, 3rd straight road game, coming off a tough win against OKC. OKC was coming off back-to-back losses, so it made sense that OKC was going to smoke them in that spot. Memphis, 7-8 straight up at home, 6-3-1 to the under in their last 10 games. They did win and cover both games against Philly last season. So what I wrote in my notes, last 10 games, Memphis has been the better defensive team by far. Offense has been about the same. Philly playing at the 5th slowest pace. Memphis playing at the 2nd fastest pace. Last 5 games, Philly has played the 4th strongest strength of schedule. Memphis has played the 4th easiest strength of schedule. So I think there's a little bit more advantages for Philly in this spot. I would take them before I take the home dog in this spot. I think Philly can win this game. And real quick, just on the, especially if Jack Landale's ruled out, and you also without KCP in this spot as well. So Memphis is, that injury report, they got about 9 people on it. The rebound advantage was 54 to 43, and you got to think, right, getting out rebounded by the Wizards like that. And the Wizards won the second leg of a back-to-back, right? No, it was on the first leg of a back-to-back. But getting out rebounded by the Wizards, offensive glass, Wizards grabbed 15 offensive rebounds. I think Philly should be able to, dominate the boards in this spot as well. Joel Embiid plays or not. They got Drummond. Drummond should be able to go down there and grab some boards. We know Jared Jackson Jr., before he was playing the 5, he was allergic to grabbing boards too. So I kind of lean Philly on the money line if I'm playing this game. That's my thought process. Let's see what you guys are thinking. I didn't really find anything as far as player props go. Like, I want to kind of see what happens with Joel Embiid before even thinking about playing Philly. I consider Jared Jackson Jr. over his boards. That's something that has been cashing with Jock Landale out. But I'm not sure if Jock Landale is going to play or not. So I will bring that up real quick just to show you guys what I was looking at when I considered Jock Landale in this game. I mean, I'm sorry, not Jock Landale, but Jared Jackson Jr. in this game. But I don't want Jock Landale. I don't want Jared Jackson Jr. over his rebounds if Jock Landale is going to play. So we go here. We look at Jared Jackson Jr. This is Outlier. The link is in the description if you guys are interested in checking it out. As always, there's a discount code in the description as well. So we go here. Look at Jared Jackson Jr. Boy sitting at 6.5. You can see that it is plus money. He's over in 5 of his last 6 games. You can see the rebound chances are up as well. Whereas these 4 games he missed it, he only had 11. And then a couple of these games have been played without Jock Landale. And you can see that the rebound chances are up 22, 12, 13, 15, and 21. And you can see that Philly is not the best rebounding team, 21st as far as giving up boards. But this is only a consideration if Jock Landale is not going to play, because then Jaren Jackson Jr. will be slotted at the 5. So that's my thought process on this one. I didn't bet any of the player props, though. Let's go through comments real quick, and we'll push to the next game. Prolific says, I always ask Jackson for the safest bet. Safest, not the best bet. Oh, I didn't even thinking about safest bet, but I felt like they'd give me like a minus 160, and I ain't trying to do that. He says, Jackson might be right on the spread. I took Detroit minus 1.5 last night. What up, B-Hop? He says, I like Philly money line, Pistons minus 2.5. I kind of like both of those too, man. We're going to get to the next one. Taylor says, what up, though, B-Hop? Taylor says he likes Maxey to score 28, 37% of his shots via pull-up, and the Grizzlies are 30th against the pull-up, ranked 30th, 20% of his points via pick-and-roll ball handler. The Grizzlies ranked 28th versus teams ranked 16th or worse versus the pick-and-roll ball handler. He's over in 8 of his 10 games, averaging 31.5 points, a little over 31.5 points. This could be a good look here. I think my thought process was just that Joel Embiid kind of messes it up for me, in my opinion. And I know Pat Maxey likes to get out and run in transition, and they are really good against transition defenses as well. So that's what held me up. But don't let me stop you, Taylor. It sounds like you like it, and I do see that Tyrese Maxey points are up. I mean, a lot of books got it at 28.5 already as well. So definitely try to find you a 27.5. Looks like BetterGM got the best number right now. Cash strain, Keelan says, okay, appreciate that. What's up, Shay? Appreciate you for tapping in. He says, what's up, Chris? Feel like an over type of game. How you feel about it? The total for me is interesting. I think like waiting for Joel Embiid to get ruled in. We know that the 76ers play with a lot more pace without him in the game. And then with him in the game, they slow the tempo down a lot. And I mentioned, Memphis being an under team recently. They're 6-3-1 to the under in their last 10 games. They're missing a lot of scoring. Now you subtract KCP. Both teams play, totally different styles of offense. Philly playing, like I said, 5th slowest pace, and then Memphis playing at the 2nd fastest pace. So it's really just about like if you think Memphis is going to be able to dictate pace because they're at home. With Ja Morant back, you would expect them to start playing a little bit faster. But remember, they couldn't score against the Wizards the other day, and a large part of that was because they couldn't get any second chance opportunities. They finished that game shooting just 42% from the field against the Wizards, 42% from the field. I'm pretty sure the Wizards haven't held anybody under 42%. That's why under didn't cash. Why over didn't cash in that game. They also shot 28% from the 3-point lines. Not a great 3-point shooting defense. So yeah, it's a lot of varying factors, and I think Joel Embiid injury status is the biggest one. What's up, Jay Carter? Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Adam. What's up, Cal? He says, what to do, Chris? Rocking with you early. Appreciate that, bro. All right, let's go to the next game. We've spent, I think, enough time on this one. Next one is the Celtics and the Jazz. So this line opened with the Jazz getting, I think it was 7. Looked like it opened 8.5. And yeah, I thought I wrote down. Yeah, I did write down 8.5. Total was at 241. It's still 240.5, 241, depending on where you're shopping. So we start with the injury report. Boston has nobody on it. Chris Boucher and Jason Tatum, of course, who haven't been playing recently. And then on the Utah side of things, there are a couple guys. So Kevin Love is ruled out, Ace Bailey is ruled out, and Keontae George is also listed as questionable in this game. I forgot what the injury is for Keontae. What is he dealing with? Keontae is dealing with illness. So he's under the weather, in jeopardy of missing his first game of the season. So we'll see if Keontae George actually plays. It looks like he has been playing for the majority of the rest of the games, and that immediately takes me off of over. Like, I wanted to get in this game and play over, but Keontae George has been he's actually been hooping this season. So I don't want to play over between these two teams without him. This season, he's averaging 34 minutes, 25 points, 4.5 boards, and 7 assists, and that's a lot to replace, in my opinion, especially when you doubt Ace Bailey as well. For Boston, it is their third straight road game. They're coming off the loss in Portland. And then on the Utah side of things, they're 12-6 against the spread at home. Back-to-back wins. They beat Detroit at home. Then they go to San Antonio on the second leg of a back-to-back and beat them outright as well. And their offense has been humming. 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games. We think about this from a head-to-head perspective. Boston does have revenge. I don't know if you guys remember, but Utah went to, I think they were in Charlotte on a Sunday night. And they got absolutely manhandled. I mean, they lost the game by like 30. Charlotte looked like they were, the 96 Bulls. And then after getting smoked in Charlotte, they have a back-to-back against Boston. They go in Boston and beat them outright, getting 10.5 points. The game was back on November the 3rd. And it stayed well under the 233 total. And that's what you get with Boston. It's really just variance, right? Like, are they going to be able to make threes? If so, you definitely want to take overs. If not, you want to take unders. If so, they can blow you out. If not, they can lose the game outright like they did to Portland in the last game. So it's really just like I said this a couple weeks ago, Boston, betting on Boston, you really want to kind of do it like in game. This is my personal opinion based on my observation and analysis. Is like, if Boston comes out shooting really, really hot from the 3-point line, it's typically some regression. Not that they can't shoot well from the 3-point line for the full game, but like if they, make 14, if they make 10 of their first 18 threes in the first half, it's typically some regression coming in the second half. Now, we know Utah is one of the worst 3-point defenses in the NBA, maybe the worst 3-point defense in the NBA. So Boston, in theory, on paper, should thrive in this matchup. I'll show you guys what I was looking at when I was thinking about this game last night. And this is all courtesy of the Money Baller. So I'm going to go over to the Money Baller real quick and show you what made the most sense to me. So we go here. There's a link in the description if you guys are new or interested in checking out Money Baller as well. It's a one-stop shop for all your trend stats, scheduling spots, your situational spots, all that good stuff. So you see in-season revenge for the Celtics. We talked about that. Coming off a loss as a favorite. Jazz have the rest advantage. Excuse me. And they're coming off a win as a dog, so it may be a potential letdown spot. So if we go to team comparisons, we come down here and we look at this first half over. So Jazz at home. Well, Jazz, let's start with the full season. So Jazz at home are 18-11-2 to the over, which is slightly less profitable than full game Jazz at home. So clearly they've been this is just full game, full season numbers. But then we go home. The Jazz are 13-3 to the over as a home dog in the first half. The Celtics are 7-1-1 to the over in the first half as a road favorite. So full game though, 3-6 to the under. What does this tell you? This tells you that the Celtics come out guns blazing in the first half, and then their offense falls off if they're a road favorite in the second half, right? I mean, it's clear that this is, if you don't know how to read trends, this is what this one is saying, right? So to me, the best play in the game would be the first half over. It's what I wrote in my notes. Utah 13-3 to the over as home dogs in the first half, 12-4 to the over in the full game at home as a dog, which you can see right here. And then Boston 7-1-1 to the over as well as road favorites. I put it in my notes, but I'm also just wanted to show you guys what I saw when I was looking into this last night. Keontae George, in my opinion, means a lot, but this is the way that I think that we should play this one. There's like, for me, there's too many guys that could potentially hit their points prop in this game. Peyton Pritchards of the world, the Derek Whites of the world, both make a ton of sense with the way that they like to shoot the basketball and the way Utah defends, just pull up shots and catch and shoot shots. But then there's also consideration for Jaylen Brown too, right? Jaylen Brown, I can't remember how many games it is in a row, but he's had 30 and has a chance to break. I think in this game he has a chance to break. What's the guy's name? Larry Bird. Couldn't think of Larry Bird's name. He has a chance to break Larry Bird's record of most games with at least 30 plus points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 games in a row he scored 30 points, at least 30 points. And I think it's a pretty good matchup for him in this spot as well. Getting a bunch of shots via isolation, transition, free throw line, spot up, all that good stuff. So Boston, Utah, first half is very, very high, 124.5, but that's the way that I would play this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Nally says, good morning, Chris. Lately, I've been following the money and chart movement, 90% hit rate on outlier. I'll take the over in this game. Over, first half over, make a bunch of sense, Nally. Hope all is well with you. Appreciate you for tapping in as always. Rhino says, solid. Jared Jackson look for his rebounds, Chris. Yeah, but you want Jack Landale out because then Jared Jackson Jr. is forced to play the 5. And if he's not grabbing the boards, who is? Santi Aldama? So yeah, I would wait though. He's listed as questionable, so Jack Landale could be back in this game. Jay Carter's just thinking about Jaylen Brown's over 31.5 points. Seemed like he's trying to break the record for most 30-point games. I agree with that. Taylor says he'll lay to 7.5. I don't see how the Jazz stopped them from shooting the threes. I thought the same thing last time they played too, Taylor. I don't know, man. We'll see. I want to see what happens with Keontae as well. Only problem is he lands on 30 a lot. So maybe you take him for 30 and a win, Jay Carter. Might be a little nice little same game parlay if you think that Boston wins the game. That should reduce the juice a little bit. 30 and a win. Adam says good opportunity here for a same game parlay with +2 with 240 points. I agree with that. Brian Sensabaugh over his 15 points. Isaiah Collier 8 assists. Had 8 straight games before. Just 4 in the last one, especially if Keontae George doesn't play. This could be a good look. It says no Keontae, no George, no Keontae, no bet. But if he's in, the Jazz plus the points is intriguing, and I kind of agree with that. Keontae in, I'm taking anything over. Yeah, I had them playing 6-on-1 yesterday. It was 6-on-1. I put all of them on the same team, and I still won. It's like 4-0. We only played for like the last 5 minutes. Now at least it's lean under 240.5 here. What up, Bissy? He says I'll be on the over and hit the like button. Yeah, hit the like button if you guys can. I think we did a pretty good job covering that one. First half over is 124.5, but again, I would want Keontae George in. Talked about how much he meant to the game overall. And yeah, like Busy said, man, do me a favor, hit the like button, especially if you're somebody that always hits the like button and maybe you just forgot. If you're new and you're just trying to seek some information, hit the like button. A lot of information being shared every day between myself, the chat as well. Pretty sharp chat most times as well. Let's keep going. So 2 more games. My Lakers are getting 2 as a home dog here at Crypto today. And this line is intriguing because I think it opened with the Pistons laying a point. At least that's what I saw that before it started to move. went all the way up to 3. Now it's come back down to 2.5. Total open 231.5, and it's up to 232, 233, 232.5, depending on where you're shopping. So in this one, we do have Detroit, who is not playing well recently, man. I've been talking about this for a while. Karis LeVert listed as doubtful. The Lakers will be shorthanded. No Rui Hachimura, no Austin Reeves, no Gabe Vincent. For me, no Lakers. Detroit has not been good on the road, though. They're 7-9-1 against the spread on the road. They're only 3-6-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. They're coming off a loss to the Clippers, where Kawhi gave them 55. Last game was a 5-game road trip for them. They haven't covered any other games on the road trip. Remember, they were laying 8 in Portland, and they won that game by 8. That was the game that Cade got thrown out, and they went on a late run. But something tells me that Detroit doesn't want to end the road trip like this. Like, it's not been good for them on this road trip. They were laying 3 against the Clippers, coming off a spot, where they had lost the game outright. So they went into that game losing to the Jazz right before that. So back-to-back losses. The Lakers, they got a big win against the Kings, but how much credit do you want to give them for beating the Kings on the second leg of a back-to-back? Only 7-6-1 against the spread at home. Third straight home game for them. I looked into, last 10 games for these teams. So even with the recent slide, and the Lakers being getting a +20 win against the Sacramento Kings on Sunday, Detroit has still been the better offensive rated team, better defensive rated team, and they have a significant rebound advantage. And we talked about that. Well, JaXon actually talked about that. So I do like a couple things in this game. One, I like Detroit. If I'm betting on them, I'm only taking the points. I'm only laying the points, maybe even a money line here. Because of the rebounding advantage. And I think Detroit will do well against a team like the Lakers, who, just struggle to rebound the basketball and should be able to make some shots. So I like a couple props I like as well. Duncan Robinson over his 2.5 made threes. Lakers are right outside the top 10 in opponent catch and shoot 3-point percentage this season. They're 27th in opponent pull-up percentage as well. Duncan Robinson's coming off a game where he shot just 1 for 6 against the Clippers a couple nights ago. So I think, a nice little bounce back spot for him makes sense. Not that he has to bounce back, but I think, it's a good spot for him to bounce back against this Laker defense. Against teams that are bottom half of the league and defending the 3, Duncan Robinson's over in 10 of his 13 games so far this season, 5 of 8 on the road as well. 5 of 6 similar players have actually cleared this line against the Lakers this season. Peyton Pritchard hit 3 threes. Derek White hit 5 threes. Clay hit 3 threes. Buddy Hield hit 5 threes on the 2.5 line. And Dante DiVincenzo hit 2 to 3 threes twice against this Lakers team. So I think you can get a -115, -120. I do expect that to close a lot worse. But Duncan Robinson, I haven't played it yet, but Duncan Robinson over his 2.5 threes, I like a lot. And then the other one that I did end up playing, I sent this out to the members, and I think the line has started to move a little bit, was Jalen Duren over his 1.5 assists. To me, this line was just a tad bit too low for the way that the Lakers like to play defense, especially against bigs. The Lakers do, and this is, I think, more so JJ Redick does a really good job of like trying to limit bigs, and they'll collapse and give up, shots to the open shooter. Duren is somebody who gets a lot of his points as the pick and roll man. About not a lot, but about 16% of his points come as the pick and roll man. The Lakers are top 3 in defending, the pick and roll man, and they don't give up a ton of points to the center position. Not that they can't, but I think Duren will run a lot of that pick and roll with Cade Cunningham today. And once he gets the ball, he'll be able to spray 2 shooters like a Duncan Robinson. So these plays actually go hand to hand. Jalen Duren, he could get 2 assists to Duncan Robinson in the first quarter. And this cashes. Duren is over his assist line at 1.5 in 17 of his 29 games so far this season. Lakers are bottom 10 in assists allowed. And like I said, a lot of it is just because of the coverage that they run against bigs. And Duren has been feasting as well. He had 18 points against the Clippers in that last game, 8 for 12 shooting, 23-point game against Sacramento, 26-point game against Portland, and a 19-point game against Charlotte, which he's cleared his points prop in 4 of his last 5 games. But something tells me, it'll be a big assist game. He's also cleared his assist prop in 4 of the last 5 games as well. So I like Duren to get 2 assists. When we played this morning, it was -105 on BetMGM. It was -194 on FanDuel. So I kind of feel like we caught BetMGM slipping And I think the line has moved since then. I saw that minus 125. I'm not sure what it's at right now, but that's what I like. And that's what I played in this game. I love Duncan Robinson look, and I may even add that as well. During assists is minus 125 right now on BetMGM. I think it's still playable there, and it's minus 240 on FanDuel. So big line discrepancy, but that's why you get OddsJam so you can shop around. Let's see what else you guys seeing here. Let's see. Detroit in a road slump. I want to fade them. Double says they are in a road slump, but something tells me they bounce back here against the Lakers. LeBron beat a triple-double legacy game. Nah, not for my money. Detroit is actually the number one team in the league as far as assists allowed. So a look towards, and they're going to be motivated in this game as well. They typically play well in LA. I feel like last year they came in here and beat my Lakers in LA. I know that they beat us in Detroit. They smoked us in Detroit last year. I vividly remember. Or did we win that one? Yeah, they beat us in Detroit. They beat us 115-103. We were laying 7 in that spot. So Detroit they won both games and covered both last year. They were getting 6.5 in LA. Beat us 117-114 last season. I would argue that Detroit's gotten better. I don't know about the Lakers, especially without Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura too, and Gabe Vincent. I just feel like the Lakers are missing a little bit too much in this game. Detroit, probably money line. You can get a minus 135, minus 140. And I love the player props in this game too. During assists, Duncan Robinson threes for me to end this road trip on a nice note after not covering the last 3 and losing back to back. So let's see real quick. Luka assists are at 7.5. Interesting, right? Luka assists never at 7.5. He was at 8.5 against the Kings in the last game. He was at 7.5 against Houston. Houston also gives up very few assists. Against the Clippers, he was at 9.5. Against the Jazz, he was at 9.5. So he's at 7.5 in this game, and this is the number one team in the league as far as not giving up a bunch of points at the rim. Detroit, and that's where Luka gets about 42% of his points. So this could be a fade of somebody like Jackson Hayes, somebody like I might put together a little same game parlay for this game. DeAndre Ayton, somebody else who scores a bunch of his points at the rim. He's listed at 12.5. He's under in 3 straight games, gets 56% of his points, less than 10 feet at the rim, and the Pistons give up the second fewest points at the rim. So Ayton under his 12.5 points is something that I'm actually going to write down as well. I hadn't thought about this. Yeah, pretty tough matchup for Ayton in this spot. All right, let's keep going through the comments. Ayton over his 8.5 rebounds, but honestly, his double-double is in play at plus 210. Okay, so Money Man Frank thinking opposite. 77 Vegas says, this is the game we figure out if the players only meeting with admit something. Kings game don't count. That's a fact. Absolutely. Double says you like Cade points over. I didn't really look too much into the Cade matchup, but I mean, how could you not? Who they gonna put on them? Luka? Yeah, I would be looking at Cade to go over his points, but I think some of the role players are in a better spot here. Cade's over in back-to-back games versus Utah and the Clippers. If this game's supposed to be competitive, I think that he could absolutely go crazy. He gets 42% of his points via the pull-up, and the Lakers are the 3rd worst defense against the pull-up shot. Lakers are also bottom 10 against the pick and roll. He gets 32% of his points via pick and roll as well. So 26.5. Yeah, you can get 25.5 on Pinnacle minus 115. BetMGM got 25.5 at minus 125 as well. But yeah, I think Cade's in a really good spot as well. Busy says Luka over his 8.5 first quarter points. On this one, half a unit. Get in and get out. 77 Vegas says Pistons minus 2 top play. They should be able to push the Lakers around. I kind of agree with that. Let's see. Marcus Smart over 2.5 rebounds at plus money. Reno says he will get an extended run in this game for sure. Jay Carter agrees. They should be ready to play tonight. Legacy game. Kate assists. I like Jalen during assists. I'm not betting both, Brian. All right, let's go to the last game, which is the Kings and the Clippers. So Kings, this line open 11, I think is what I saw, and it's down to 9.5 now. It looks like 10s are popping up. Total 220. This total was way higher. It was 220 like 7. I think is what I saw. Just double check real quick. 226, and it's down as low as 221. So immediately what jumped out to me was we take a look at the injury report. Keegan Murray's on it, listed as questionable. No Sabonis and no Zach LaVine. On the Clipper side of things, John Collins is listed as questionable. No Bogdanovich, and Zubac continues to be out. So the first thing that came to mind is I want to take the Kings team total under. It's 106.5. I went to sleep last night. It was 106.5. Hasn't really moved a lot this morning, but I kept it on the short list because this is a spot where you think you are, like you think it makes too much sense. And the plays that make too much sense be the ones that don't cash, right? So I look at just the basic handicap. You got a Clippers team playing third and 4. It's a divisional game as well, right? We know that they're all in the Pacific Division. And then the Clippers have not been good at home. They're 4-10 against the number, but 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games. They've won 4 straight. They've covered 4 straight, but none of them have been them laying this big of a number. Matter of fact, if the Kings are close to 10-point favorites this season, they're 1-2 straight up. I'm sorry, 1-2 against the spread, with the only cover actually coming back on October the 24th. I think it was like their third game against the Phoenix Suns at the beginning of the season. They have won. The Clippers have 4 straight in the head-to-head, but Sacramento's covered the last 2. And, I look at this Clippers team, last 5 games, they're second in opponent points per game, second in offensive efficiency, last in pace. And that's all while playing the most difficult strength of schedule. Sacramento's 26th in offensive rating in that same time span against the 12th most difficult strength of schedule. So it should be a spot for the Clippers where they, continue to roll. That team total for the Kings is 106.5. And if Keegan Murray's ruled out, I do think that we potentially see under. Kind of want to see what happens with him. I'm looking at the Clippers game recently. They held Detroit to 99 points. This is a Detroit team that was held to 99 points on Sunday. Portland, 103. Houston, 108. The Lakers, 88 points in the last 4 games. So, holding the Clippers under 107 holding the Kings under 107 should be, walk in the park, right? You look at the Clippers, they look at the Kings, they've been held under 107 in 3 of their last 5 road games. They got to 101 against the Lakers on Sunday, 103 versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, and 105 to the Indiana Pacers of all teams who can't guard anybody. So 106.5 team total, to me, it makes a ton of sense, but this will be the game that, DeMar DeRozan will go for 30 and Westbrook will hit every 3-pointer. And, because the Clippers are laying so many points now, they end up letting up off the gas in this spot. So I didn't bet it, but that is a lean of mine. Sacramento team total under 106.5. The other thing I considered real quick, and I'll just go through this. I got to do this real quick because this is actually taking a long time for just 4 games. But if we go back to outlier really quickly, another thing I considered was I considered Kawhi, not his points at 29.5 because that's a little too high, a little too rich for my blood, especially with them get Derrick Jones Jr. back. But I consider his rebound prop. Kawhi has been grabbing boards, man. It was something I don't even think I wrote it down. But if you look at his boards at 7.5, I think this was plus money last night, and now it's minus 110. It looks like, but he has a couple of these games he's finished right on 8. But he's grabbed at least 8 boards in his last 5 games. Last 6 of his last 7 games as well. 8 of his last last 9. Well, what is this? 7 of his last 9 games as well. You can see the rebound chances have just been there for him because they're playing more defense, which means more rebounds. 14, 14, 21, 15, 15. Only 7 in this game against Memphis here, but yeah, the rebound chances are going to be there. It does feel like he's going to be able to grab the boards. We know the Kings are a terrible rebounding team, 26th. Then without Sabonis, I do think that they continue to bleed rebounds as well. So Kawhi over his 7.5 boards is something that I had on my short list, but I did not bet. You can see similar players. Has exceeded for 7.5 rebounds in 4 of his last 5 games at home, averaging 8.6. So a little bit of an edge there. And you can see the rebounds that they've given up recently to the small forward position for the Kings. Braun went over, Najee Marshall went over, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flagg, Sir Thompson. So that's what, 5 straight overs. 6 of the last 7 have gone over the number. I wouldn't even put Duncan Robinson in this category with these type of players, but I guess he is a small forward. So yeah, I consider Kawhi rebounds, but I did not bet those. That's on my short list as well. Not sure if I'll get there, but that's my thought process on that game. Let's see what you guys are thinking, and then we'll do a quick recap and get out of here. All right, let's go back to the chat. What up, dude? Appreciate you for tapping in. Dom says he loves over. I think that was Detroit and LA, maybe. Clippers team total over. Play Kawhi over his boards. Adam did play it. DeMar over his points, rebounds, and assists. 77 figures. It seemed to me people back on the Clips train lightly, especially with them laying this big of a number. I couldn't get there. I could not get there, man. What's up, PZ? Appreciate you for tapping in. Adam says, there you go, Chris. Likes that Kawhi look as well. Brian says he'll go first half specifically. And, Brian, I considered this yesterday when I was looking at Moneyball last night. The Clippers have been a really good team in the first half, not laying points, though. I remember the last time the Clippers were laying points at home. They were playing against Memphis. It was a double revenge spot. And I think we just needed them to win by 2.5 or 2 or something like that. And they dropped the ball, just laid a complete egg in that game. And they're playing much better basketball now. But, the Clippers are good in the first half, 20-10-2. I'm sorry, 20-10-1. So that's about, 75% in the first half. But laying points, only 5-4 against the number. So barely profitable. And they only 1-8 against the spread, laying points as well. So I don't know, man. I couldn't quite get there. The other thing is the Kings 11-5 against the spread as a road dog in the first half, and then they typically run out of gas. Only 7-10 for the full game. So if you're up late and you catch the Clippers, second half, if they don't cover the first half, that could be a good live line for the Clippers to get rid of the Kings in the second half. The Kings are not a team that can close the game that great. So that's my thought process there. Bitsy says, Chris, I took Luka early play. But man, I got burned 3 days ago taking early props. I'll just wait for underdog to tell me what's up. But NBA is janky right now. It absolutely is, man. It is, Bissy. I hate it, but it makes sense. Players got a lot going on, trying to bring the new year in. They're probably hitting a little bit of fatigue because the season has been going on for 3 months now, 3-4 months now. So it makes sense that we're going to see a lot of variance in the NBA. You got to pick and choose your spots wisely. Risk management is important as well. G421 says, what's up, brother? Another year BCappinn plays, almost done, dusted. Appreciate it. Chris, beginning of last year, I was an amateur at this. I love it, G421. I love that for sure, bro. All right, let's get into a quick recap. So we don't really need to do questions today because I went through all 4 games. But yeah, we talked about these. If I'm betting the Philly game, I really just want to wait on Jock Landale. But Philly, I think that they can get the job done. I really don't even care if Joel Embiid plays or not, but I think that they can get the job done. I think them coming off 3 straight losses is an advantage. And if Jock Landale isn't there, I'll probably be on Philly. Maybe even Philly first half. They've been really good in the first half as well. Jared Jackson Jr. rebounds if Jock Landale isn't there, I think is also something worth to look at. Boston and Utah, I didn't write this up here, but we talked about it. First half over 124.5 would be my best look in that game. I want Keontae George in, of course. I know it's a super big number, but I do think that game goes over the total early based on the trends that I told you guys. Utah 13-3 to the over in the first half as a dog, and Boston 7-1-1 to the over as road favorites in the first half as well. And then Sacramento team total under seems so easy. I will leave it on the short list. Probably won't bet it. Detroit money line. I do think that they beat my Lakers today, and I'll put Detroit team total over on here as well because I think if they dominate the boards, they'll be able to score the basketball. But I'm not sure. I won't bet both of these. I'll probably bet one. The other one was Duncan Robinson. We talked about him. I may get there with him over his 2.5 3-point makes. And last but not least, DeAndre Ayton. I got to do a little bit more work on Ayton because I found that on the show. But under his 12.5 points, in my opinion, makes a bunch of sense. Just the way that Detroit doesn't give up a lot of points at the rim. And like I said, Ayton gets, majority of his points less than 10 feet at the rim. So not a lot of second chance points, not a lot of offensive rebounds. I think, in my opinion, for Ayton, I think he can struggle today in this game. So that's my thought process on the games for today. We've been on here for way too long. I did not expect it to take this long for 4 games, but always enjoy, capping the games and talking about with you guys. And it just makes me think about the games differently. So, yeah, that's it, man. Resources all listed in the description as well. JaXon, Outlier, Moneyballer, as always. Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Turn the notification bell on. We'll be back tomorrow for about a 10-game slate, man. See you guys then. Enjoy your Tuesday.